Hello and welcome to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I am your host, Bel-E.
And I am your co-host, Scratch.
And today I think you have something to share with the class.
Do I?
Do you ever?
I don't know. It's this really interesting dynamic. One of my favorite songs of all time.
All time. Me too.
Is called Hangar 18.
By Megadeth.
By Megadeth. You know, the guy that was kicked out of Metallica because he was too radical.
Or should we say, too talented? Granted, that's a little bit divisive.
It sounds divisive, but it's true.
Yeah, but it's true. Because here's the thing. Much akin to David Bowie, whenever David Bowie would start, quote-unquote, a band, that wasn't a band. It wasn't David Bowie plus the guitarist, plus the bassist, plus the drummer, plus whoever else was involved. No, it was David Bowie.
It was David Bowie.
Dave Mustaine is the same way.
Dave Mustaine was the exact same way.
I think Dave Mustaine is probably a lot less of an asshole than David Bowie ever was, in my opinion. From the impression I get of Dave Mustaine, he doesn't strike me as a total asshole.
Not sober.
I've never met the man sober or drunk, so...
No, I haven't met him, but I hope to one day.
Yeah, I hope to one day. I hope cancer doesn't kill him, because last thing I heard, Dave Mustaine had a huge health scare. Like, he's got cancer! And I'm like, come on! I want to talk to this guy!
Yeah.
Have a conversation with him. Doesn't have to be about music.
Yeah, but had it been for heroin, he probably would have conquered the planet.
Correct.
Lyrically, musically. I mean,
oh my God.
He was in a band with James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich. And I've met Lars Ulrich and interacted with him. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
His stage persona, his public persona.
Yeah.
He's been drafted and shaded in a particular manner, but Lars is he's really a cool guy. He really is.
I think part of the problem that people hate Lars Ulrich, the whole Napster thing notwithstanding.
Oh, yeah. Well,
we'll get into that eventually, but that notwithstanding, part of the problem, I have always had the impression that people shaded Lars Ulrich to be kind of a bad guy because, especially in the early days of Metallica, whenever there was like a big band interview, he's talking 90 to 95% of the time.
Yeah,
and
95%.
At least 95, yeah, somewhere in there. And the primary reason, looking back on it, the reason he was the one doing all the talking was he was the least fucked up.
Pretty much.
Because, think about it, especially Hetfield, who back in the day was basically, I don't want to call him a caveman, like 3 steps above caveman. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Where he's just going crazy, just wilding out on stage, wilding out backstage in his life.
Kirk Hammett was, a great guitarist, obviously, came out of Exodus.
Yeah.
James Hetfield was not a very social person. It was always interesting. It was always
Plus, this is also the thrash movement, and thrash is fat. Play fast, live fast. Thank you, Levy.
And
God rest his soul.
Hetfield was not a communicator per se in interviews and that sort of thing.
Sure.
It was always interesting because Hetfield was always seen as the leader of the group.
Sure.
The primary leader of the group. And they would always ask James these questions. And James was always this dark and brooding individual. But he usually had on sunglasses.
It's probably because he was hungover.
Because he was either, in my opinion, from my observation.
Yes, Mr. Medicine Man.
Yeah, he was always really drunk or really hungover.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting how Lars would always step in and say something to the tune of, well, what I think James is trying to say here is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because Lars was it.
Lars was it. James, honestly and truly, he really, people want to give Lars, they want to give him grief because, he's just trying to outshine the others. The fact of the matter was that James was really not interested in being the mouthpiece. James really didn't care.
He was just
about being the guy.
He just wanted to do what he wanted.
He just wanted to do what he wanted to do,
and that's fair.
And that's fair.
Yeah, he's made his living doing that.
And Lars obviously was a better communicator, so Lars would always step in and.
Yeah, I don't think less of people in that situation.
And I had heard. I mean, I can remember from the original origin of my exposure to Metallica in the early beginnings came from a bootleg tape that had been copied from a bootleg tape, had been copied from a bootleg tape, had been copied from a bootleg tape.
The olden days.
Yeah, had found its way across the United States, and. So, people want to give Lars a lot of grief. He's this rock star, and he's got his big personality, he's got his big ego. I've met the man and interacted with him on a personal level. He really is an okay guy. He really is a cool guy. What's so interesting about is from the outside.
Yeah.
You would think, at least I did.
Yes.
You would think that, Lars is kind of a jerk, and James is kind of a jerk, and Kurt Hetfield was, kind of like
Kirk
cool.
Hammond.
Kirk Hammond, Kirk Hammond was always the cool guy. But when you get to know him, Kirk Hammond is really not.
He's not that cool.
He wasn't. He wasn't when I was in the room. I'll tell you that.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you. When you interacted with these guys, who was their bassist? Was it James Clifford or the trio?
No.
Trio. Wait, hang on. No. There's probably a way to say it. I can't remember if it's like with a Y, because the Spanish language pronounces those two double L's like a Y. So, hang on. That dude, you were saying.
Well, when I first came into contact with him was right in the middle of their lowest point when
the Saint Anger tour.
It was prior to Saint Anger coming out.
Oh.
That's when I showed up.
Jesus.
That's when I got in. So Jason Newsted had exited.
I'm thinking of Burton.
And Robert Trey.
I'm on it.
Had
Robert Trujillo. Wait.
No.
Truj, which I think is an H, but I can't remember. ILLO. So there is definitely that Y sound in there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
Robert, the bassist.
We were living out in Marin County, which is if you look at the north, if you look at the Golden Gate, if you look at any commercial or any shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, you see urbanization, city on one side, you see green on the other side. That green area, that's Marin County, and that's exactly where
sorry.
As far as I know Lars. I know Lars lived there. I know James lived there. Robert Tree. Oh man, I'm tripping. I'm absolutely tripping. Treheyu. He was over on the Oakland side, and they had hired him.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because I always liked I liked Jason Newsted. It came out of a band, I believe, out of Arizona called Flotsam and Jetsam, which is
I've heard of them.
Which is a good band.
Yeah,
I enjoyed their stuff. And
got treated like crap.
Well, yeah, he did get treated like a
But I don't want to get into that.
He did get treated like a second class, like he was a.
He got treated more like a roadie rather than a band member.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, now, I don't want to turn.
And honestly and truly, they were all really still honestly true. All these years later, they were dealing with the loss of Cliff Burton,
which sucked.
Which happened in the early '80s.
Yeah, I was barely a concept, and even I know that had to hurt. That was actually no. Cliff Burton.
Yeah.
That is the direct inspiration for "In My Darkest Hour" by Megadeth. That song's about him.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, it was pretty sad. I mean, they were in a tour over in Europe and hit a patch of black ice, and the bus turned over.
Yeah.
And
He did.
He did.
Yeah. In My Darkest Hour, it's about Cliff dying and Dave Mustaine feeling betrayed by the Metallica members getting kicked out of the band. That's what that song's about.
And so
nailed it.
They brought Newstead in, and he did a more than adequate job. I mean, he was a tremendous bass player, still is. He's a musician.
Yeah,
That's why these people you still hear what's the difference? Oh, here's the difference. They're musicians. They don't. It's not just a matter of playing an instrument. Oh, hey, I'm just a piece player, a fill-in player, that
like
kind of thing.
Session musician.
Like a session musician,
of.
Exactly. They treated him, unfortunately, Newstead like he was a session player.
Rather than the difference from what I've been told and what I've seen is there's a person that plays an instrument just kind of knows the general workarounds of the instrument.
Right.
Maybe play a couple rhythms and chords and songs.
Right.
But a musician, for whatever instrument, doesn't matter, they will not just continuously practice, but also continuously learn different styles.
Exactly.
Different teachers.
They're students, for lack of a better expression, they're students of the game.
Yes.
They're students of the genre. They're students of musicians. They continue to educate themselves. And I can remember when Treheyu was chosen.
Yes.
Because Treheyu came out of a band called Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, I know them.
Which was a pretty good group, actually.
I agree.
Because, I would say the easiest way to judge the musical ability of players or bands is to see their longevity.
Yes.
Okay, and Suicidal Tendencies started out early, in my understanding, somewhere in the 80s, and then all of a sudden, they're still around in the early 2000s, which is when we first moved to California. And I will never forget, right after they chose Mr. Treheyu, who I've met at the Forum, San Francisco.
What was your impression?
He was a cool guy. He came out of Ozzy's band. He had played. He was a bass player for Ozzy, and he was, any time, after, pretty much after Randy Rhoads, when Ozzy picked up Zakk Wylde, everybody with Ozzy is pretty much a session player because Ozzy is Ozzy.
Ozzy is Ozzy.
There was the Blizzard of Oz band, which kind of was session, no session, but after Randy Rhoads passed,
it was just Ozzy.
It was just Ozzy. It really was.
Same thing,
So I can remember sitting at the toll bridge. It was crazy. I was sitting at the toll bridge getting ready to go through it from, Oakland, Richmond, was when we came from the mainland and went over into Marin.
Correct.
Sitting at the toll bridge and then watching Robert Treheyu. They had the, I don't know what's it called, quick pass. Or
or
there
the
was
fast pass, whatever.
Fast pass.
Yeah.
Sitting there getting ready. I didn't have the fast pass because we had just moved there.
Yeah.
Recently moved there, and I didn't have the fast pass little sensor on my vehicle where I could just go through the fast pass lane where you had to go through the line to pay a toll.
Yeah.
But then I'm sitting there. I will never forget this. I'm sitting there in line to pay my toll cash to go from Oakland, Richmond to Marin County, and then all of a sudden, I'm sitting in my Jeep. I look in my left side rearview mirror on my left side, my driver's side door.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's this motorcycle that comes screaming out of nowhere. And there's this guy on the motorcycle who just had this really, really cool. He's wearing shades. He's on a Harley. He, this long black hair.
Yes.
And all you can see is this motor. I mean, it was like a cartoon. Honestly, it was like Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
It was like this long black hair streaming behind him. He hits the fast pass lane,
Yeah.
which means he just went right through.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't even slow down. If
No.
he hit his brake, you couldn't tell. And it was Robert Trujillo right after he had gotten chosen by Metallica. And everybody around there, and I didn't know him specifically, but I'd been kind of a semi fan of Suicidal Tendencies. So once
you saw that dude,
I saw that dude, it was like, and we had heard that it was in all the papers and all the reports that once they hired him, they gave him they literally Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield, who are the original members left of Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Once they said, okay, you're the guy we want, they realized that they had made some mistakes with Newstead.
Yeah.
They gave him a check for $1 million. A
Good.
check.
Good.
They wrote him a check for $1 million. And then they were calling him over to start work on finishing Saint Anger. And so you just saw Robert Trujillo on this motorcycle just screaming through this toll bridge on this motorcycle right after he had been given a check for $1 million. And, everybody was like, yeah. Because, I mean, when you see somebody that comes from where he came from.
Sure, yeah.
And then to succeed to the level that he has succeeded.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So
we're all like, yeah, go, Rob. He just screamed right past my left ear on that motorcycle going through the fast pass lane into Marin, going to their hidden studio in San Rafael.
Yeah, not so.
Which I know where it is, but I'm not telling.
Yeah, I was going to say, we know where it's at. I remember the matriarch. I was like 10, 11 years old, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom taking me over there and physically pointing out where it is to me. And at the time, I was like, oh, cool. Now I understand the gravity of it.
Watching the transition of her, because I can remember prior to the Black Album, if I'd put in Metallica, she would tell me to pull the car over, and she'd say, if you don't take that out, I'm getting out of this car.
Well, that thrash era just wasn't her taste.
It just wasn't her thing, right?
I respect that.
There was a whole lot of dumb stuff going around. I mean, some of these people, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot of dumb stuff going around. I mean, these people are human beings, okay? Whether you agree with their music or not.
Sure.
And there was a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of really completely ignorant stuff that was going around about Metallica. I don't really want to get into it because it really doesn't.
And plus, here's the thing:
doesn't justify even explaining why. But she had heard some of that BS.
Yeah.
She was like, "Nah."
Yeah.
But the Black Album completely transitioned her. It really did.
Indeed.
Because they're a good group.
I guess it's kind of the same deal with Ozzy. How there was a bunch of dumb talking
about.
It was crazy. Now granted, Ozzy was out of control.
Well.
So he didn't help his case, but there was a lot of dumb shit being talked about around Ozzy. And then he recorded "Mama, I'm Coming Home." He didn't write it. You know who wrote that song?
Who?
Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemmy wrote that song.
Lemmy wrote that song, and he said,
but he couldn't do it because he said
it's not Motorhead.
It's not Motorhead,
which is fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually sold it to Ozzy or they traded, but
I can remember.
They may have traded because Ozzy did "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and at some point, I don't remember what came first, but Motorhead and Ozzy have a Hellraiser. I don't know what came first.
"Mama, I'm Coming Home" came first. That was the first.
No.
thing.
I don't know which one came first.
I do.
Shh. Mix, get it out. I don't know which rendition of Hellraiser came out first, the Ozzy one or the Motorhead one.
That's an Ozzy original song that transitioned, and then
So maybe then they
Motorhead did it.
So then maybe they traded in a way.
I don't. Yeah. After that, I know that Lemmy wrote "Mama, I'm Coming Home."
Yes.
Which made for a really interesting. It made for a really interesting audience.
Oh yeah.
In the No More Tears.
Yes.
Because I can remember going into the auditorium when Ozzy did the No More Tears tour with Zakk Wylde.
Yeah.
And there were moms.
Oh God.
And their children.
Oh
in the audience. I mean, like little kids. And I don't want to give people the impression that it isn't a place where small children couldn't be. It really isn't. However, that all they knew was "Mama, I'm Coming Home," which is a tremendous song.
It is,
it's a tremendous song.
I'm just like, you need to do more research.
That one's honestly and truly, No More Tears is really good, but "Mama, I'm Coming Home" gave them that radio airplay that opened them up to
the
mainstream.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of quote unquote mainstream people in that audience that brought their kids.
That must have been a sight.
It was a sight, because I'm gonna tell you something. The matriarch and I were sitting there, and you were like, "Woo!" And then all of a sudden, there's a 19-year-old Zakk Wylde who, shirtless and leather pants, jumps up in. I've never seen, and honestly, I mean, I've had probably more than my share of concerts.
Yeah.
Not as many as most.
However,
watch him jump into the crowd.
Physically
jump into the crowd, up into the seats, down into the pit.
And he's just playing the guitar the entire time.
Playing the guitar the entire time, just going crazy. Yeah. I've never seen anything like that. God bless him. And we were like, I can remember, because the matriarch and I were just sitting there, and there was the mom and the kids, and I'm looking over at them, and I can remember, saying to the matriarch, I don't think they're understanding exactly what's getting ready to happen here.
No, they don't.
And it was kind of cool.
Yeah, stuff like that you got to do research on.
A little bit.
It kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of. What the hell's that guy's name? He's a comedian, and I really like him. He's the guy from Half Baked that always looks high, but he isn't.
Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer.
Always looks high?
Jim Brewer. Always looks high. But he's not high. That's just his face.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Two things. Number one, during the entire production of Half Baked, he was only high once.
Is that what he said?
Yes. The story he told me. Here's the thing.
I'm not aware enough to challenge that statement, although
he said that on one of his comedy specials.
Really?
Yeah, he said that they hired him because he and Dave Chappelle knew each other. They hired him because he just looked high, so it helped. Definitely. It just fit. I'm not saying Half Baked is the best movie ever, but if you're
it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a Dave Chappelle movie.
If you can appreciate being a stoner,
yes,
it's a good movie. And Jim Brewer, he does this.
He's so funny.
He does this great bit about his first attendance of a Slayer concert. Yes,
that's what I was going to get to. How he and his wife were basically almost mauled to death.
Excuse me.
He basically, it was like he somehow lucked into tickets to like a Big Four concert. And Slayer was one of the opening acts. And once it was Slayer's turn, it was like the ground was shaking. It was like an invasion from the forces of Mordor.
Right.
As all the Slayer fans literally just threw chairs into the air, ripped apart railing to get to the front of the stage.
He made it very clear that, hey, these are our seats, man.
Exactly.
And, the Slayer fans were just charging the stage. Yeah.
Just in droves.
In droves, yeah.
But the story of him and
Not for the innocent, let me tell you.
No, I'm not even a huge Slayer fan, and I'm just like, I don't fuck with Slayer people. It's kind of the same thing with ICP. Like, I got nothing against ICP. No, I don't fuck with people who listen to ICP.
I give them their due.
Yes.
You know,
I
like some of their stuff.
Yeah, I like some of their stuff too.
But I'm not going to jail for them.
No. I ain't gonna blow some shit up for him either.
No.
So anyway, so Jim Brewer, he tells this story about how on the set of Half Baked, he was only high one time.
Really?
Only once. And they caught it on film.
Yeah.
You can actually go and watch it on the movie Half Baked. Okay, so basically the story he tells, this is loose retelling, but it's somewhere on YouTube where he tells the whole story. They were like wrapping up they were wrapping up the movie. You know, they were at the climax, the big climax.
Yeah.
With the final boss pimp drug dealer dude. I forget his name.
He's dead now.
Yes, it's kind of
I can't
important.
think of his name.
No, but you know who I'm
on
talking
the Mod
about.
Squad. Yes, I can see his face.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
So I think part of the thing was Jim Brewer wanted to treat this as professionally as possible.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, you're on a movie called Half Baked, but you don't toke up, you don't do nothing until when you you basically until the rap party, you know. I'm like, you know what? More power to you.
You got to be true to your art, man.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? More power to you. I wouldn't have done it. But that's you. That's the decision you made. I respect that.
Sure.
It was something like that.
That's your check, man, not mine.
Yeah, it was something like that. He was either uncomfortable being on set while baked, or it was something. There was a reason. It was a personal reason he was not toking up while filming the movie.
Okay.
So they're wrapping up the movie, and I can't remember. It was probably Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Hands him.
Probably Dave
something. Yeah, hands him a doobie, or he hands him something.
Sure.
And they're wrapping up the movie. They're basically ending it.
Yeah.
So he goes to his trailer, and he tokes up.
Yeah.
And seeing as how this is from possibly Dave Chappelle.
Well, and the title, the theme of the movie.
The theme of the movie is Stoner. Yeah.
Right.
So this is some pretty potent stuff he got a hold of and tokes up with. So he basically what he said was then as he's in the process of doing this and he's getting a good buzz going,
right,
some on-set assistant or somebody they come to his trailer. And they come in, and they're talking to Jim Brewer, and they said, all right, the guy playing the final boss, pimp, drug dealer, he doesn't want to be in the movie anymore. He's backing out, and if we want to keep any of the footage that they just filmed, they have to finish the whole finale, the scenes with him in it, the final boss in it.
Right.
They had to finish it that day.
Okay.
So they had to record all of that stuff.
Right.
So if the final boss pimp guy seemed a little bit more pissed off than probably what the theme of the movie allowed, that's probably why. Because he was trying to wrap it up. Because he was done, apparently.
Right.
All Jim Brewer apparently heard was, because he was gone. Yeah, because he was gone. He was gone.
It's like a Jimi Hendrix concert.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Except it's inside of you.
Yeah.
The only thing Jim Brewer had to do, it's that one line in the movie where the guy is lying on the floor. Jim Brewer comes over, bends over him, points at him, and says, "Sucks to be you, man." It's that part. That was the only line he had to do left, and that was the only time he was baked out of his mind.
Really?
That one snippet is the only time he is just absolutely high as a kite in the whole movie.
That's cool.
The rest of it, that's him. That's him acting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this man is amazing. Because I couldn't do it.
Samson Simpson.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That guy. But you were talking about Hangar 18 earlier.
Oh yeah.
You were leading into something.
It's a masterpiece.
Yes.
It's an absolute masterpiece.
Yes. That reminds me. What I was gonna say was all right. Now this is more because of personal bias, but hang on.
I'm trying.
I know you're hanging. All right, now because of my last relationship, I'm going to use Hangar 18 as kind of like a test, especially for musicians. Because non-musicians, whatever. You either like the song or you don't.
You either like the song or you don't.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's okay. Not everyone's taste is the same.
True.
You know, I respect that. But as a musician,
right?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'll explain. All right. Now, if you're a musician, hypothetically, like a musician, like
right.
You know what you're talking about,
right?
And I play for you, Hangar 18. Depending on what you say is gonna determine my opinion. I don't mean whether you like the song versus you don't like it, you know, because I do feel like if you're a musician, you can have some constructive criticisms.
Sure.
Like saying,
sure.
I feel this particular section of the back end of the song should have been moved up 40 seconds versus, stuff like that, that's fine.
Yeah.
That I don't mind, you know? Having constructive criticism, that's fine. Having praise for it, that's also fine.
And you don't even have to like it.
Yeah, you don't even have to like it.
You won't hurt my feelings if you don't like it.
No.
Okay, but if you can't appreciate it musically.
Correct. That's what I was getting to.
Right.
Because of my last relationship, the guy I had previously dated and is someone I still want to throw a toaster at his face.
Said he was a guitarist.
No, he is. He's not a professional guitarist, but
I don't understand how anybody.
That's exactly what I was getting to.
I mean, you don't have to like it.
Yeah, you don't have to like it.
Right.
But his primary criticism of Hangar 18, here's the context of what had happened. It was a road trip. He and I in the car, and we're driving. We're making conversation because that was back when we could talk, but whatever. I still want to throw a toaster in his face.
You've been ghosted.
No, I ghosted him, technically.
Yeah, cool.
But anyway, not without cause. Anyway.
Who cares?
Yeah, I know, who cares. I'm probably going to carry that feeling of wanting to throw a toaster in his face for a little while, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it's part of the healing process, but anyway. I feel that's normal.
Sure.
But anyway.
Sure.
So.
Did you commit a crime?
Not yet.
Then, no.
For legal reasons, this is a joke.
No blood, no foul.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Anyway, so basically at some point, I can't remember exactly how we got on the subject. He had been learning guitar 4 years before he got out of the military.
Right.
Because he needed something to keep him together. And
sure.
I respect that.
Find something.
So he had been playing guitar for about 5-6 years prior. So
to your relationship with him?
Correct.
Okay. Sure.
Not professionally, but like I said, something to keep it together.
Sure.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I respect that. So
yeah, I do too.
So he was more of a musician than I am. I don't know how to play any instrument. I just know how to dance.
True.
So that's kind of how where we differ. So he and I basically had like a little mini contest where we had to put forth a song that we felt had the better guitar solos in it.
That was the specific intent?
That was the specific intent of this particular interaction.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
He put forth his... Now, here's the thing. When you think of awesome, like, best guitar solos in history... Like, doesn't matter the genre, doesn't matter who did it, what are some stuff you could think of? Because I think of obviously we talk about Randy Rhoads, him, Santana,
Eric Clapton,
Jimi Hendrix,
Pete Townsend,
a
a guy by the name of Phil Keaggy. which someone you're not really.
I've heard of him. I don't know much about him.
You're not really aware
Buckethead.
of. Slash, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what
modern genre.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know if Buckethead is even human.
Link Ray.
Yes.
I mean, as far as great
they
guitarists,
have,
sure.
They have like a big selection that you could choose from.
Yeah. People that
Bob Dylan to an extent.
People like someone like Link Ray didn't really put out music based on what was popular or what was radio friendly. It was just as an artist.
Sure.
This is what I think is cool.
Yeah. They're not a guitarist, but Les Claypool, if you like bass solos, which I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's Tom Petty.
Tom Petty had his application.
He had his application, But so you're thinking like.
Oh, and you could get into all kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can get all kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I said, there's like established people.
Sure. Mark Knopfler.
Yeah.
Dire Straits.
Speaking of which. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he chose.
Really?
I think it's Sultans of SWAT by Dire Straits.
Sultans of Swing.
By Dire Straits. Yeah. That song.
Really?
That's the one he...
I mean, he's
No. He's great.
For what he does.
But here's the thing.
Sure.
He's very technical. And I don't mind technical. I enjoy technical.
Sure.
But in my personal opinions, technical can sometimes come across as lifeless.
That is very true.
Like, someone can sing technically correct, but I don't feel any emotion beyond, you can sing good. Whereas someone like, this is kind of an extreme example, but like Freddie Mercury.
Right.
Who, you know this better than I do. In terms of a technical singer, Freddie Mercury didn't do any of that shit.
Oh, he was a garbage technical singer.
Yeah, but
his ability, his natural ability, completely untrained.
He just
all emotion, just straight from the gut.
The fact that he could generate such powerful emotion.
Born with a gift that didn't have anything to do with some class he took. No,
it was him.
That was Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying Freddie Mercury is the best singer in the universe, but you understand my meaning.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't mind technical, but it's not my preferred style. And the guy, I forget his name, and I apologize, the guy playing for Dire Straits in that song, especially in the back half of Sultans of Swing, is a very technical guitar solo. Yes. And it was nice.
It was good, yeah.
But like I said, it's technical. So the song I put forth, because I'm not anti-technical, but I'm definitely pro, you have to have a soul, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I put forth as he put forth Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits as the best guitar solo. I put forth Hangar 18 by Megadeth, which has like 6 guitar solos in it.
It hasn't been estimated as many as 11.
Really?
Yes. Based on riffs.
How quick the changes?
I have heard people argue that there is as many as 11 specific solos in
Hangar 18.
Yes.
So you understand my meaning.
Yes.
And they're all good.
They're all good.
Yes.
They're all good.
There's not one.
They just happen to be fast.
They just happen to be fast. But that's the thing that was the point of conjecture. That was the point of butting heads between he and I. Here's the thing, I did not dismiss the Dire Straits song, because I said, this is really good, and I got more into...
You appreciated it for what it was.
Yeah, and I got more into Dire Straits, because I'm like, it's not my favorite band, I get technical, but I'm like, I want to hear more of this.
Sure.
What else can this guy do?
Sure.
Is there anything with emotion? But whatever.
Right.
Potato. And then I play Megadeth by Hangar 18.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the fact that we were somewhere in another state in his vehicle, I probably would have stopped him. Because I put forth Hangar 18 by Megadeth, and he's like, that's what's wrong with, you kids nowadays. You think something is fast, it means it's good. And I'm like,
No.
There's like 6 guitar solos. Can you play 6 guitar? Doesn't matter fast or slow. Can you play 6 guitar solos in a row? You know what I mean?
It's like Neil Sean of Journey.
Yes.
It's not fast.
No.
But if you can't appreciate what he does,
correct,
you don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what that's
music.
Yes, it's just music. So that's why I say I will use Hangar 18 as a testing the waters for musicians. Like I said, you don't have to like Hangar 18, but if you say some stupid shit like that, then I don't really
I thought about that, and I find it really interesting because that was really, honestly, closer to his generation than it was your generation.
Correct.
He couldn't even appreciate it.
No. And technically, Dire Straits was before him.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because that's before your time. Yeah, but
not much, but a little.
Not much, but still.
Yeah.
Now you can respect the old stuff, the classics.
I can.
No, I do too, but it's like, you're a musician, you've been doing this for about 5-6 years, and your only comment about Hangar 18. You know what else I played for him?
What else?
I was like, oh, I guess Hangar 18 is too complex for you. Let me quote unquote dial it back. You know what other song I played? He said the exact same thing about Mr. Scary by Dawkins.
Really?
Yes.
I
know it's apples to oranges, but as far as
George Lynch,
yes,
did a tremendous amount of work. Unfortunately, Dawkins got caught up in the whole hair band image thing, and it really cost them a lot. But musically, they were a great.
They were leaps and bounds.
The original quartet, they were really a good group.
Yes,
they really were. And if they had approached music like Metallica did, which Metallica basically said, we're not wearing any makeup. We're going out whatever. We're going out in T-shirts and jeans. We're going to go out and jam.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much why they're still around today.
Correct.
Because they are musicians. They weren't interested in image.
Yeah. Unfortunate about Dawkins. I like
it was unfortunate about Dawkins.
But that's kind of what I mean is I was like, oh, I guess Hangar 18. Oh, so what? And then I followed it with Mr. Scary by Dawkins.
Yeah.
And he said relatively the same thing. Like, just because it's fast doesn't mean it's good. I'm looking at him like, you stupid bitch. You're lucky that You're lucky that we're in a situation where I can't just rip your guts out right now.
And then George Lynch did a lot of really good work. Did with Dawkins, and then when Dawkins, basically what happened with Dawkins was it came time for everybody to sign new contracts, and they tried to because Don Dawkins, the lead singer, because his name was on the band, they were basically going to try to dismiss the rest of the band to being session players. And money-wise, and then money came into play, and they said, we're going to pay you like a session player. And George Lynch's sound was such an integral part of Don Dawkins' overall sound. He basically said, you know what, you're not going to pay me like a session player, so I'm out.
Yeah.
And they lost the bass player and the drummer.
Yeah.
And Don Dawkins retooled, and he had
some okay songs.
Some okay stuff.
Honestly,
Mad Hatter's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the only really good song after
in my
lost
opinion,
the original lineup.
Lineup. But
that's basically it.
Just basically 4 people. That's what I can't figure out is why someone who is in a leadership role doesn't understand.
I don't know
how. I'm going to tell you something.
I don't know. It's that whole thing of don't fuck with the formula.
Yeah, it's when you find whatever your group is.
Yes.
When you find that groove. The groove. where you all fit.
Yes.
Sure. I mean, look at Kiss, for crying out loud.
Yes.
The original two members, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, in the early days, all four of them came together.
Yeah.
And they were the original group. Then two people ended up leaving the group in one reason or another. And then everybody that followed is pretty much session players. But the original group gelled together in such a way that they made such a huge impact on music in general.
Indeed.
And not everybody, two people, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, were able to appreciate that. The other people, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss, in my opinion, weren't able to understand exactly what they were accomplishing. I didn't realize that they could be replaced. And that's why, and then that's why bands, I mean, and I love Kiss, but they basically end up playing, for lack of a better expression, they're playing oldies.
Indeed.
And you can always bring in a session player
to do the old stuff. Indeed. But to be fair, at this point, do they really have to put forth that much effort? Gene Simmons
not to make money, they don't.
No,
because they have a fan base that'll never go away.
No, it won't. It's kind of like Coca-Cola, where they introduce it to their kids, and then the generations just keep going. So
self-perpetuating.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my spiel on Hangar 18. It's basically a test whether or not you're an actual musician or if you're just some ass clown playing the guitar.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't appreciate what it is. I mean, there's a lot of music that I don't personally care for.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it doesn't a genre.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I can't appreciate what I'm listening to. It isn't anything that I'm necessarily going to buy.
No.
But when it comes on the radio, I'm not going to turn it to the other station.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a good song, it's good music.
Good music is good music, yeah.
And I don't understand that mindset. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't know whether it's just jealousy or insecurity.
I don't know. I kind of took that whole incident as looking back on it now. Because at the time I thought I was just yanking my chain. Because I'm like, how do you can dislike that song, but how do you appreciate it?
Exactly. I mean, you heard what he had to offer, and you were like, oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I still like that song.
And then he basically, after you laid something out there, which is, I honestly and truly, Hangar 18 is one of those songs that obviously is not going to get its due from the mainstream.
No.
But if you can't appreciate it for what it is, something's off.
I look back on it and go, I don't think in terms of guitar solo, quote unquote guitar solo quality, I think it had less to do with the fact that it might have been better than Dire Straits, and more to do with the fact that I put up something that was worth a damn to compare to Dire Straits.
Not saying it was better.
No, not to say it was better, but to say that this is comparable in a way.
Right, and then for him to flush it.
Yeah.
And give you kind of like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
God, you appreciate this.
Yeah, looking back on it.
It's from his generation, too, based on his age.
Yeah, it is.
So he had to live through it, like the rest of us gray hairs.
I think I just poked at his insecurity, and he just didn't like it.
I don't really understand why people would have I mean, I do. I understand people that would say, you know what, that's just not my cup of tea.
Sure. There's a difference between that's a cup of tea and you just because you think it's fast doesn't mean it's good.
Like,
what are you talking about?
I mean, the speed has nothing to do with it.
No.
Although I do enjoy it for its speed.
Yes, because sometimes fast. Sometimes you want to go fast.
Sometimes you want to go fast.
Sometimes you want to go
slow.
I'm
going to tell you something. If you want to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like.
This is why I have. Yeah,
it's going to be I want a venti dark with 4 stevia woo!
Yeah.
You know, I want to crank it up, buddy. I want to get my heart rolling. Man,
Yeah.
Hanger 18 will wake you up and get your blood pumping quick.
Yeah. This is why I have 4 different workout playlists. I got Chillin' with Trees, which is basically the chill mix. Seriously, I literally named it that.
Chillin' with Trees.
I wasn't fully awake when I made that.
Chillin, apostrophe. With
Yeah.
W-I-T. Trees. T-R-E-E-S.
Yeah, I wasn't fully.
An extra S.
Yeah, I wasn't fully awake when I made this. I have my general.
Awesome.
I have my general mix, which is I'm not a sociopath because it is just. It is just a mix.
That's definitely a mix.
Yeah.
You send those to me?
Yeah, I can.
Woo!
Yeah, I have songs to not scare people
That's
with, which is like.
Songs. You're not kidding, are you?
Yeah. You can name these playlists whatever you want.
That SpongeBob one, is that the
Yes.
Motorhead one? You better swim.
You Better Swim by Motorhead for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie soundtrack.
I want to tell you something. When you and Bro, as kids, were sitting in there, we were watching the SpongeBob movie.
And that's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I don't give a fuck if you like SpongeBob or not. It was good.
When they broke Motorhead out, I could have not been happier. I'm going to tell you something.
When we got to the Thug Tug.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you nearly jumped for joy as soon as you heard that intro.
My attitude is that music is music.
Yeah.
And, it could have been Beethoven for all I care.
Oh, yeah.
Good music is good music.
But, the scene in question is at the Thug Tug, which is like a dive bar for, badass motorcycle, stereotypical stuff. What else are you going to have? What else are you going to play?
I think it's wonderful. I really do. I don't think it's dismissing the music at all.
No, and plus...
I think people that get carried away...
Sure.
No, man, you can't play that kind of thing. This music is hardcore, and this is a comedy.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well, here's the thing.
You need to go have a sandwich.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy?
So.
In, somewhere between season 1 and, before the movie, the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, they had an episode where they had Pantera play for them.
Really?
Pantera.
You start on Pantera.
Yeah, I know. It was the, I think it was the... Yeah, I know. Relax.
Anyway.
I think it was the episode where SpongeBob and Sandy, it was they were having fun, but then they started having Sandy's kind of fun, which is near-death experiences.
Right.
And at some point, a good example is at some point in the episode, it was SpongeBob's like, all right, what do we do next, Sandy? Because he's all beat up from the last thing.
Right.
And she's like, all right, because she's texting, all right, now, I can't do it. She's saying, all right, now it's time to play Find the Hay in the Needle Stack. Choo, 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 choo. And start playing Pantera. So this is the Songs to Not Scare People playlist.
And that stuff shows up every now and then. Yeah. It's like what Megadeth did back in the day.
Duck Dodgers.
I think that stuff's great.
I love it when stuff like that happens.
I do too. I think that's so wonderful where you have this from an outsider it seems like a mixing of a genre. But if you relax
and let it happen,
you realize that it's got so much in common.
Yes.
It's so great. I love that kind of stuff.
Oh, exactly.
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah, this is just the normal, not spook people songs.
Songs to not scare people.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll play stuff at the gym and it scares the shit out of everybody. So this is kind of high energy, kind of not so much feel
good. There's no King Diamond on there, is it?
No, that's on this one.
Then you're break God's teeth.
This is the extreme one. See?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Hanger 18's on there. This is the stuff that if you're basically trying to break world record at weightlifting, this is what you play.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Sea of Madness. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, I think I listen to things heavy. I listen to classical. I listen to good country.
Yeah, good country. There's
good
a difference.
Country is a big difference.
Because country's not all about it's summer, parties, beer, tractors, girls got legs. Seriously.
Hey, look at my red cup. But you got to say it like that. Hey, man.
Hey, Red Solo Cup was awesome as a joke song.
That's true, but it was a joke song.
Bo Burnham.
I hate pandering. I hate pandering.
That Bo Burnham song, Pandering. That is exactly what is wrong with country nowadays. Pandering. Go listen to the
formulaic type of nonsense boy band.
Yeah, listen.
I hate pandering in music. I hate it.
Yeah, go listen to Bo Burnham's Pandering song. That is exactly what country is doing now.
Yeah, it is.
And to an extent, so is Christian music, but I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
That's something that I'm not mentally prepared for.
That's always been that way, though.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Well,
I know some people.
I see what you're saying. No, I do.
Here's the thing. I'm not the biggest fan. A good example of people who don't do it is now I'm not the biggest fan of DC Talk, but I at least appreciate that they try something different.
Oh man, when DC Talk showed up, they blew up everything.
Yeah,
just like Striper.
Oh Jesus!
When Striper showed up, man. And I can tell you because I was 13, 14, 15 years old when I came straight out of that very classical, standard gospel.
And then
Striper showed up. I was like, yeah! Because...
It was like Christian gospel music, but metal.
It was freaking...
And hey, if you like that sort of thing...
Robert Sweet's probably one of the best vocalists that ever existed.
He still sounds the same today. It's like Robert Smith.
Yeah.
He found his voice, he nurtured it, cared for it. He sounds the exact same.
Exactly the same. Same power, everything. Okay. And just because it's a different style, and just once again, just like, with your friend, it's a different style, people got a problem with it because it's a different style. It doesn't mean... There's stuff that I don't like that I won't purchase per se, but I can appreciate.
I kind of feel the same way. This is a small detraction. I kind of feel the same way with Alestorm. There's only so much Alestorm I can handle at one time. For those of you who don't know, Alestorm is basically Scottish pirate metal. Yeah. Which, here's the thing. Alestorm's awesome. There is literally... no other band on the planet that I would go, you know what, if there is one place I can feel comfortable getting fucked up out of my mind, it is going to an Alestorm concert and doing the rowing.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it. You know how some concerts there's like the mosh pit, the wall of death, and there's stuff like that.
The last mosh pit I was in was in 2008.
Wait, is that the one that you refused to participate in and they had to put a security guy next to you so they
No. I did participate in it.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't in the middle of it. I was an edge target.
Okay.
So it was Godsmack and Metallica. We were at the Cow Palace in San Francisco.
Okay.
And the mosh pit was taking place. It was like the first 4 or 5 songs. Basically, what Metallica would do after Godsmack went off, Metallica came in and to get everybody lathered up, they would do like the really fast, heavy stuff.
Yes.
And then they would, after about 4 or 5 songs, then they would kind of decrease the tempo and kind of calm everything down. So the first 4 or 5 songs, I don't remember exactly.
They were getting people lathered up for.
Everybody lathered up, an end to the concert.
Yeah.
So the mosh pit was going on, and I was kind of standing on the edge. The matriarch was right behind me. And we were down in the pit, in the bottom of the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
Not up in the stands. And so I don't know exactly how it got started. I don't know exactly what the... I don't know exactly what the
mosh pit happens whether or not it happens.
Yeah, the mosh pit happened, and people just started targeting me because I was standing on the edge of the mosh pit, trying to knock me down. So they were just lining up, one guy after another, one guy after another.
Just
kept hitting me, and finally, the security put a guy next to me, one of the security people, who was a big. I mean, I'm a big guy,
but this was a bigger guy.
He was a much bigger guy. He basically was the size of a. If you ever see the movie Friday or Next Friday, the guys the Fifth Element, the guy that played the president. His name is Tiny Lister.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a big old black.
About the size of a refrigerator.
Yeah, about the size of a refrigerator with arms. So this dude, imagine Tiny Lister in a big yellow shirt that says security on the back and a pair of shorts.
And he's standing right next to you, so they don't fuck with you.
Well, he just wanted to make sure that things didn't go overboard.
Yeah.
They literally, so these guys are tagging me. They're running at me, tagging me. There were two guys that wanted to fight me because they couldn't knock me down. And punks, young kids. And, and that was, and it was, I didn't hit anybody. No. I just stood there and took their impact, okay? Because that was the culture. That's what mosh pits do.
Yes.
He and I were having, he and I had a really interesting conversation. I was like, hey, man, us legal concert attendees, we really appreciate dudes like you, keeping law and order. He wasn't a cop. So we had a good conversation. Yeah. These guys kept in. They literally, because two of the guys that came out of the pit that tried to knock me down wanted to fight me. So those guys ended up getting drugged out of the pit and thrown out of the venue.
Yeah, don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch. And because they couldn't knock me down. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't an ego thing as far as I was concerned. I was just, like I said, I mean, I'm just target. It just gave everybody an opportunity to express their aggression or whatever.
Sure, whatever. It's a mosh pit.
It was a mosh pit. Yeah. And so, two of the guys got drug out because, when they couldn't knock me down, they started to take a swing at me, and he stopped him, and then security came and drug him off. But anyway.
You and this dude had a good conversation.
Me and this guy had a good conversation. He was a really cool dude. Like I said, he looked bald head and everything. Just like Tiny Lister. Cool guy. And
okay, that's the story.
That's the story.
No problem. The reason I bring this up is because one facet of the weird collective genre of there has to be an official name for it. The umbrella term. There has to be an official umbrella term for this, but I like to dub it as ocean metal.
Ocean metal. Okay.
Ocean metal. Like, Alestorm is pirate metal. There are Viking metal. There is sailor metal. There is sea shanties metal.
All sorts of metal.
So basically, it's naval metal.
Metal is life.
Yes. So anytime a band fits into, there's a particular band that does it more. I can't remember if it's Alestorm or somebody else, but anytime a band who their primary umbrella is this ocean metal, as I dub it,
right?
They have their own version of a mosh pit, except it's not a mosh pit, a crowd interaction. They have their own crowd interaction.
There are different styles of mosh pit, yes.
Yes, the ocean metal
style. Some are more destructive than others, but yes.
Yeah.
Some are very rhythmic.
Yes, this is the rhythmic.
Right.
Because ocean metal has rowing.
Yeah. Rowing.
Whenever a band is playing like a really good song, because it's sea shanties, it's Viking metal, it's pirate metal, it's sailor metal, stuff like that. And they're at a live venue and they're playing a song, the crowd will get on the ground, like ass to grass, knees up in the air, like they're sitting down, and row in unison to the song. It's the rowing.
The slave ship metal.
Exactly. Oh, God. Exactly. So that's what these ocean metal guys will do.
I've never heard of anything like that.
Yeah,
Thank you for
rowing.
introducing that into my understanding.
That's their mosh pit. They row.
They
row.
Hey, if it works for you,
it's not destructive.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, hey, if it works for you, sure.
They're just sitting down.
You're not killing anybody. You're not damaging any property.
It's not a wall of death.
It's not a wall of death. Because I can remember some rough ones where there was blood and broken noses.
Yeah, I don't do wall of death.
No, that's cool. I see that. I mean, there's.
But that's their mosh pit. Rowing.
Is that like a line dance?
No, it's Yeah, that's basically their
Really?
that's their version of the mosh pit or the circle pit, stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Now
Well, here's the thing: they don't hurt each other.
Yeah.
It's just minding that they're rowing.
I'm not going to dismiss it. I just want to know what environment potentiates such an action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What band?
Probably Alestorm.
Really? Ale?
Ale, as in the drink ale.
Oh,
yes.
So not hail.
No. Not
Hailstorm is
not
a little different.
Hailstorm. Alestorm.
I'm
Ale,
afraid
like
I
the drink.
am not
I found it.
familiar with that. I thought you were saying hail.
No.
Hailstorm.
No.
That's got like a lead singer chick who's got
Yes.
pipes that
she's got pipes.
Just destroy.
Yes.
But Alestorm.
Alestorm.
That's cool.
It's pirate. It's Scottish pirate metal.
Scottish pirate metal.
Alestorm. Alestorm.
That's tremendous. I'm not being a jerk. I mean, I'm just saying.
This is rowing.
Oh my God.
That's their mosh pit. That's their circle pit.
Doesn't anybody have a shirt on?
You don't wear shirts at an Alestorm concert.
I guess not. That's funny.
Don't ask about the duck.
Don't ask about the... Wait a minute.
Alestorm has a duck. Don't ask questions.
Not Metallica, Megadeth concert where there was like this big inflatable duck raft that somebody was driving in over the crowd. Okay, all right.
That's rowing.
Okay, that's cool. You know, don't want to injure your fellow person, common man.
Yeah, that's a rhythmic circle pit. And
what's that?
Arma and Armath, the Viking guys, they do it too.
You can do the what's that exercise that you teach the butt?
The glute race.
The glute race.
We don't.
That would work with that.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, it would.
But we don't have a rowing machine. But
No.
yeah, that is rowing.
That's awesome.
That's something
I don't have a problem with that.
Alestorm does it.
What am I
Armoth.
You kids today, man.
I'm just personally happy that they do something that doesn't involve hurting people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, obviously I don't
It'll make me bleed my own blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do walls of death.
No.
Circle pits is like some extreme fighting shit.
I'd stay out of that. I really would. I stayed out of it.
Mosh pits I don't care for, personally. I mean, they're fine, but I don't know.
No, not really. Not today.
No, not today.
Not today.
This is the duck I was talking about on stage. Don't ask about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Alestorm does that. They just have a duck. And no one asks questions because
I don't know.
That's part of it.
I just remember a Megadeth concert where there was like a big inflatable duck raft.
Yeah.
They would just kick around, and every now and then somebody would be able to crawl up into it
and just ride it
until the fans got tired of it, and just dumped them out,
dropped it,
stomped on them, and and just pushed it around. Anyway, it's just,
it's
good.
Funny.
It's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Nobody went to the hospital, I hope.
Thank God. I hope not.
There wasn't a coroner's report or anything, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So that's what the ocean metal guys do. They have rowing.
Ocean metal.
Yeah, that's what I call them.
All right.
So there you go.
I guess that's how the Vikings discovered America. Anyway. Or discovered Canada, at least.
At least Canada.
At least Canada.
And definitely North America at some point, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This has been quite a ride,
Yeah.
We've been doing this for over a year. What are we on, episode 53?
Yeah, about 53, yeah. It's been about a year.
It's been about a year.
Yeah, I think we've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting ride. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Oh,
I really have.
Yeah, I hope to one day in the future when we're not extremely busy with not dying.
Not dying. Yeah.
We can kind of branch out to other stuff.
Oh,
like other websites like Spotify and whatnot.
You can hire us to open a supermarket.
Yep. Indeed.
I got no qualms with using those big scissors to cut through the ribbon.
Indeed.
Indeed. It's been I've
been,
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really have.
This has just been something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So little something.
Little something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of little something to look forward to, I need a way to work this joke in.
Which one is that?
The medicine bag?
Oh, the medicine bag, yeah.
Yeah, what's in it?
I forgot. Oh.
You remember what I said before we started?
Yeah.
All right. Now, mind you, this is legal in our state, so shut up, Karen.
Yeah, shut up, Karen.
All right.
Karen's always blonde. It's just me.
They're not always blonde.
They are?
Not always.
All right, the ones I've interacted with are.
Yeah, the ones you've interacted with, I can't speak for, but.
Yeah.
But sometimes, no, sometimes Karens, they can be old, they can be young.
I've dealt with Karens.
Can be white. They're predominantly white.
In my years as an ER trauma nurse, I dealt with Karens all the time, and I wish that word, that name, that moniker had shown up a long time ago, because it would have been easier to go, just shut up, Karen.
Yeah, because we do it today.
Yeah.
But so several months ago, I had acquired myself some special chocolates, legal variety. I'm trying to figure out, can you say THC on the? You know what? I don't care. I don't think
THC. Yeah.
Yeah, THC. Yeah. Basically, some THC chocolate or Delta 8 chocolate. How about that?
Delta 8 chocolate.
Yeah, Delta 8 chocolate. I was just kind of curious and wondering about it. Yes,
Is that like a bar?
It was a bar.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell whether that was
a chocolate bar.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because I keep it in the bag.
Oh, okay.
See?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like actual chocolate.
Okay.
It's a mint chocolate. And here's the thing. That's fine. I can share.
No, kryptonite.
I will actually share. Not just because I know you. Not because I know you. But here's the thing. I have had
I gotta work tomorrow.
Oh.
Nah.
Oh, it's not gonna kill you then.
No, I know, but I still gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not even happier about it than you are, I assure you.
I know.
Gotta keep your day job, man. Keep your day job.
You could do the food delivery stuff that I've been doing.
I don't have a problem with that, but you have a better vehicle than I do.
Fair enough. But anyway, so my experience with Delta 8 has, it's nice for the occasion. It does give you a slight buzz, because I basically heard it described as more of like the caffeinated version of that industry.
Really?
Yes, meaning it can get you buzzed, but you're also going to get some energy too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, is kind of like it's like winding. It's basically like getting a toddler wind up.
Toddler.
Like, they're going to have a lot of energy, but they don't have any cognitive function.
All right.
Like that, if it's too much. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing. I had gotten it, out of curiosity, because it's like, it's chocolate, and it's Delta 8, and it's something that's legal. So I'm
legal
like,
chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a band name right there.
Legal chocolate.
Legal chocolate.
Maybe one day.
Legal cocaine.
Yeah, maybe. So essentially what had happened was, I got it, gnawed on it every now and again. This was just before I started my job at the massage parlor. So I figured, you know what, this will be like a little treat,
Sure.
However, the problem is, I've already gone over how much that job has essentially traumatized me in such a record amount of time.
Right.
So I had the bright idea of, you know what? I'm going to do something that probably most of my peers do, but no one talks about, and I'm going to get baked or do something to coast through the shift.
Right. Sure.
Because, honestly, it just never occurred to me before. And I never had the opportunity, but it definitely never occurred to me that I could just do that, However, the problem is at the beginning of me using this chocolate, it was a nice buzz, something to just kind of keep me even.
Sure.
However, by the end of that massage parlor job, it basically turned into me asking myself, hey, me, do you know what it feels like to have a panic attack for 5 hours? Nuh-uh. Would you like to?
Woo!
I'm not joking.
No, I know.
That
It's
was
terrible.
It was like the day after the incident with that dude calling me for about an hour, just leaving nasty messages.
Yeah.
It was the shift after that where it's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm quitting this job regardless.
It's like walking through the jungle waiting for a tiger to jump out of the brush and drag you off.
Yeah, so I take a piece of the Delta 8 chocolate going, this has got to do something.
Yeah.
No. I straight up had a panic attack for 5 hours. It wasn't like
That's awful.
It wasn't a bad panic attack.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
I was just running around, but it definitely was like internal. My hands were shaking, and I thought I was going to die.
There are people that
and I was fighting with myself internally to like, you're not going to die. Just stop looking at the clock. Keep reading. Keep playing the chest.
This is my opinion.
Chess. Yeah.
This is not medical advice.
Okay.
This is my opinion from my observation.
Yes.
There are people that live with a panic attack all day long. It causes them a lot of digestive problems. I personally believe that part of people, there's a lot of people that have what's called IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, from my observation, I believe a lot of that is stress related. Yeah. And it has to do with having, quote unquote, a panic attack for 5 hours.
Yeah, because you're in that fight or flight mode.
Because you're in that fight
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it draws blood away from your GI tract, your digestive system. And it causes a lot of problems.
I mean, it does make sense.
It really does.
And it also explains why during the last few days at that massage parlor, I was under so much, not just stress from the job, but also emotional and spiritual stress, and mental stress, that I would forget to eat. Yeah. And I would basically be starving myself on the clock.
I want you to break that down and think about that.
People. Oh, I know.
Think about you're so stressed out that you can't even refuel.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
There is something completely unnatural about that.
That's why I will never step foot in that building again.
Yeah. And my heart goes out to people. I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to figure it out because what the modern narrative does is tell you that you have a problem.
Yeah.
And there's something wrong with you. But when you keep getting put into an unrealistic situation, we've talked about it. If you can't give me the tools to win, you can't bitch when I lose.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? They put you in a position, and I saw it the other day. And I really don't want to give power to any of these modern narratives that have really catchy names.
Yeah.
The Great Resignation.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen I work in the medical field, I work in the nursing field. People that are absolutely just done. Just done. Yeah. Just done. Just dropping whatever it is and just walking off the job and saying, I can't take it anymore.
There's also
you can only push people so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's even folk, especially in my generation, where I'm just like, you need to take it easy with these people because, for example, I read online where someone who gets I don't know where they got hired. Basically, their primary stipulation was do not schedule me for Mondays. That's all they asked.
Really?
Don't schedule them for Mondays. And they get scheduled for Monday. They didn't work that Monday because they had a pretty fast exit from the job altogether. They didn't even show up for ever.
If you can't pay somebody for their inconvenience, and I have personally been involved in jobs that were impossible, 800-pound bulls that were going to throw you, okay?
Yeah.
You weren't going to make it to 8 seconds, and you were going to last past 8 seconds. It was going to throw you, it was going to beat you up, you're going to take, it's like having a, can you imagine every day you hit the clock, it feels like you're having a tooth pulled, somebody's standing there with a pair of channel locks pulling a molar out, okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't make me better because I was able to deal with it for an extended period of time.
But the fact that you had to deal with it.
But the fact that I had to deal with it. Okay, these people are going to either have to pay more money to compensate for people's inconvenience, or they're going to have to add more staff.
Or at least restructure.
At least restructure.
Yeah.
And, that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Yes.
People are just walking away from jobs.
Yep.
Because it's just too much.
Not only that, but it's far easier to...
Okay. I'm a prick. Okay.
Yes.
I am a hard ass. And I approach my job and it keeps me between the lines. But what is happening today in the modern narrative that is going on with the panini, and it is wearing me down to the point that I just want to not show up. I've never had this weight affect me in such a way, and I'm a jerk. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a prick. I'm a jerk when it comes to those sort of things. And even I, who see my work ethic as literally a part of my identity.
Yes, and
yet, I just want to quit and walk away.
Well, here's the thing.
So someone who wasn't raised to approach work in the world that way, they're just getting eaten alive. It doesn't make them better or worse. It doesn't make me better or worse. I'm just trying to express what is going on. Yeah. And these people are just being eaten alive by this nonsense. And these employers are really slow to understand that you either got to do one or two things. You either got to add more people, you got to lessen the workload, or you got to pay people. You got to pay people for their inconvenience. That's it. Yeah. You don't have.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one, right?
Or multiple, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You cannot leave things the way they are and continue to function as a company. You just can't. And other than that, if there's another answer, hey, I am more than open to entertain it. Yeah. But if you're telling me there's something wrong with me, F you, buddy. Yeah. Okay, I've been fighting dragons for a long time. Yeah, you're a psychedelic chocolate, sure.
No, it just kicked in.
Oh, okay.
It takes an hour to take effect.
No worries.
And I literally just hit it like 5 minutes ago. So I'm just like, oh, crap.
You got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
Got my peanut butter and my
chocolate.
I love Sundays.
Yeah, I do too. I'm good.
Yeah, I even if
Are you going anywhere later?
No.
Good. I'm glad because I know you've been,
honestly,
you've had places to go and things to do, and justifiably so.
Not today.
Not today. Well, good.
That's why I like saying. I mean, I did have the idea of like going out to get like maybe one or two cartons of ice cream. That'd be about it. But I'm just like,
what's your goal in life? Well, I really would like some ice cream.
Yeah, I know that. But right now, I'm just
that is a form of rest.
Yes.
And once again, and I'm gonna tell you another thing, people want to talk about it for religious reasons. Don't get caught up in this. We are hamsters on a wheel. You need at least 1 day out of a 7-day cycle. You need at least 1 day
to not be on the wheel.
Yes. Okay, if you aren't smart enough to understand that doesn't have anything to do with religion, that is us as human beings and our existence.
Yeah, at some point we need to stop.
Take a day off. That's it.
That's it. Doesn't have to be religious.
No,
you don't have to go to a church or nothing. No. You can just stay in bed all day and sleep because that's typically what you and I do on Sundays.
That's what it takes.
You cook. You cook. We all eat. We record the podcast. then we chill.
Don't ask me to do anything.
Nuh-uh.
If my house ain't on fire, I'm not doing anything.
Exactly.
You need that.
Yeah.
As a human being, you need that day off. Can you imagine people? And there are people that are, unfortunately, because of their responsibilities and their debt,
they can't do such a thing.
They can't get off the wheel.
No.
And that's what causes people to kill themselves.
Oh, I'm aware.
And God bless these people. Do what you got to do to make it to tomorrow. One day at a time.
Yeah.
My heart goes. It does. I know. And people from my past, people that know me, they're like, "Oh, Nate, he's an asshole. He's a prick." But no, my heart goes out to people.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad. Stop. Take a break.
Yeah.
One day a week.
That's cool.
That's where you start.
Yeah. I believe in it.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm about to fall out of my chair.
You've already de-gummed.
Yeah. I think we need to end it for I'm
for your cross-eyed drooling.
Thank God. Here's the thing with me.
This was your host, Bel-E.
Yeah. No, the thing with me and that chocolate is if I take it, definitely moderation.
Oh yeah.
Because
chocolate in moderation.
Well, I mean the Delta 8 chocolate. Because if I take too much of it, that's when the panic attack's going to set in.
Yeah.
Because it's like that caffeine interfering with your system.
Let's all be human beings, people.
Oh yeah. So.
And there's nothing wrong with being a human being.
Yeah. And have a little chocolate.
A little chocolate.
Spiked or no, just have some.
Sure.
All right.
Science.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, folks.
That's it.
I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.